That never
Hello,
happened.
hello, and welcome to Happy Time, Happy Money podcast. And today we have Krystle McGilvery. She uses behavioral finance as a foundation to provide business consultancy and financial coaching. She's focused on improving the financial capability and well-being of business owners. Krystle is a chartered accountant, is known for connecting money to the mind as the starting point for improving financial dexterity. She is deeply passionate about the psychology of financial decisions making, financial education, and the opportunities it grants. Hi, and welcome, Krystle.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Absolutely pleasure. I would love to learn more about how did you become someone who's interested in all the psychology around finances.
It's a big story. So I am a chartered accountant. I have been for, I think, over 10 years, definitely. I don't know exactly now, I've lost track. My plan wasn't originally to become a chartered accountant. I studied financial maths. In my household, it's kind of an unwritten rule that you have to go to university and just pursue, quite a traditional career. So I did that. At the same time, so I was living in a single parent home, raised by just my mother, and she was actually self-employed. So she was self-employed, she's a hairstylist, she has a salon, lovely, but she didn't have the skills to manage the finances of her business. So she struggled. So we were living, struggling day to day to get by, and we managed, but it was a challenge. And being the older sibling, I was responsible for maintaining the household and keeping everything, in good condition. So quite early on, I kind of became really aware of the importance of finance and the impact it can have on your day-to-day life. So as I said, I went on to become a chartered accountant, and doing that and being surrounded by people in finance in the working space, I obviously started to really improve my personal circumstances. So I acquired several properties, just really built up a lot of money and done really well for myself. But the people that I grew up with and the community I was from didn't have a similar lifestyle to me as to the one I was developing. At the same time, it shows you how much I do, but at the same time, I was teaching maths, and I started teaching maths when I was 18 years old. So I was still quite connected to the community. And yeah, I think I got to a point, so working as a chartered accountant within finance, the finance department of a company, I think I got to the point where I was quite frustrated seeing what was happening in the general community and the life that I was experiencing. I was like, I can do more. And in terms of my passion and what I cared about, I started to get to a place where this isn't enough for me. This, what I'm doing day to day, I'm not fulfilling my purpose. So I actually went away, I quit everything. I packed it all in. I quit my really high paying job. Mother was quite upset. And I went traveling for a year and a half. And that provided the space for me to really, really tap into what was at my core and what I cared about. And I realized that what I cared about was women, finance, especially women being the head of the home, the fact that children often go to them for education and learning. And then you have a bunch of women who are founders or, and the importance of women having their financial independence. So that became my real passion and drive and my focus area. That was quite a few years ago. So I came back to London, whilst I was traveling, actually, I set about creating a plan as to what I'm going to do. So obviously being a chartered accountant and being good at maths, it helped with me setting up my own business. So I've gone on to set up a few businesses. Some have failed, which I understand is a common journey for many founders. And I currently do just that. I support people, men and women, mainly women. I guess that's down to women gravitating towards me to get that financial support. And on the mind side, so I don't just do finances, I actually focus on the founder themselves and where they are mentally. So it's, I've done a CBT course and I've done quite a lot of psychology courses to understand how the mind processes financial decisions. And, it's all about confidence and, feeling like you're capable of learning this part of the business, and I'm sure you're aware, we're not taught this stuff in school. So people don't just pop out into the world as an adult and all of a sudden they're skilled with the financial, education that they require. So I focus on the individual first, get them confident with the idea of learning about finance, then take them gently on that journey, which is a large contrast to what a lot of the finance educators do today. I was just talking to someone about it today, and a lot of them can be quite harsh in, telling you off aggressively for making the wrong mistake, at times. And instead, my approach is very different. If you look on any of my socials, you'll see I'm much more gentle about it, because I can see there's something underneath the surface that's going on for someone to make that decision. So yeah, that's what I do now. And I've got lots of things in the pipeline that I want to do just to really help this space. Yeah, that's how I got here.
That is so awesome. I would love for you to share the top 3 mistakes that people are making it before becoming financial free.
In terms of business or personal?
Personal and business.
Yeah. Okay. I think on the business side, and this is funny, I was just putting something together before this call. On the business side, one would be people thinking that a attractively looking bank balance means they're doing well in business. It doesn't. And instead of me going into detail now, basically, it doesn't take into account or reflect the liabilities you have. So things that you have to pay, the things that are due to be paid. Just because you have a lot of money right now, you may still be liable to pay things out. And, again, with the finance education, you can learn what needs to be done and how to best analyze your financial position. Another would be financial mistakes, you say?
What?
Did you say financial mistakes?
Yes, the top 3 ones.
Yeah, I think the other would be trusting your mind. We're humans, and our brain likes to take the easiest route. So if you have a goal to maybe save a certain amount of money, and you're not doing it right now, you're not saving as much as you'd like to, you haven't got the systems in place. If you, for example, some people want to save monthly, and they say, I'm going to save at the end of the month. So I get paid at the beginning. I'm going to, go through the month, spending on what I need to, and what's left I'll save. You're never going to save what you plan to save. You have to set up systems that force your hand, that you're not in control of what you're doing. They're just happening in the background. And I think the third one would be, back to business, I think it would be trusting your accountant to make the best financial decisions for your business. So an accountant is there to manage your day-to-day finances and maybe work on the statutory reporting and the legal side of your finances. They're not necessarily there to forecast your business and create the strategy to get you where you want to get to. And I think that's a common misconception that people have, and that's not right.
I love it. So you talk about behavioral, finance. Like, what is it, and why do you speak about it?
So it's funny. It's an area that's been around for about just 10 years, actually. There's lots of research going into it, and also into neurofinance. I did a course on that, and it went too deep. It was literally looking at the brain and the structure of the brain, and I was like, too far. Behavioral finance is basically the psychology of financial decision making. So it's take a look at the psychology of your brain, why you make decisions, how you make decisions, the influencing factors that get you to where you are today, and then focusing that expertise in the space of finance. So if you look at, or if you think about limiting beliefs, or people who spend way more than they should be spending, or sustaining an overdraft day to day, it's looking at the psychology as to why somebody gets there. So a lot of what I do is trying to understand that psychology and apply it to an individual to help them reflect, first of all, to understand what they're doing and why they're doing it, and then find ways to kind of undo that or do the opposite to get them to where they want to get to.
So is there the same thing that when people, let's say, overspending, like, is it the same trauma, I guess, or anything that triggers that in every person, or is it different for everybody?
It's different. It's totally different. Mm-hmm. So if you think about an individual, so forget finances for a second, we're all so different. We grew up in a different society, different community. Our parents taught us different things about finances. And also, what I think people often forget is when you go to college or university, the people you interact with there impacts the decisions you make. Whether it's peer pressure or it's a partner, there's so many different factors that influence you and what you believe about yourself and about money. as you continue to grow and, you evolve, all of that blends together. So it's, the starting point is looking at, okay, what are you doing that's maybe hindering you getting you to where you want to get to? Okay, why do you feel that? What do you feel? What's the thought process? And really unpicking that process.
Love it. And the last question that I have for you is to filling the blank. So filling the blank for me, if you really knew me, you will know that I am blank.
Very silly.
That's awesome. I love it. All right. I know you have an awesome gift, and actually this is like 2 gifts in there. Can you share more about what it is and why our audience must go and grab it?
Yeah, one's a startup finance manual, basically. It's just for people who have started a business or about to start a business and are really in a bit of a mess when it comes to what to do with their money and how to manage it. So that's that one. And on the personal side, it's kind of a little money makeover. So if you haven't ever taken the time to look at your finances, this will help you by prompting you the range of questions to think about your finances in different areas and hopefully help you make decisions as to what to do.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And if you're watching or listening to this episode and wonder where you can grab it, just scroll down. There's going to be a link to our webpage where you will find video, audio, transcript, and all the links that we mentioned in the episode and more. Thank you so much for coming. And thank you so much for watching and listening to this episode. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.